got what you wanted, so why are you so miserable? You hit your goals, you scaled your team, you made the money, and now you're more anxious than ever. And that's not success, that's dissonance. You got what you wanted, and now you feel hollow. So there was a time when I first hit $100,000 through my sales team in a month. And it had been something that I'd been focusing on for quite a while, but because I didn't attach a reward to it, and because it didn't have any purpose behind it other than to hit it, I was already looking for the next milestone. And honestly, it didn't feel like much of anything. Nothing really changed in my life. I didn't have any external or even internal changes other than I hit the goal. Yet part of me felt like this was a thing that I had struggled with for a long time, and I really wanted to have it. And I ended up self-sabotaging and getting it to where we couldn't duplicate it because I kept changing focuses. And it didn't even feel worth it after all the effort and energy that I had put into it. And that's called post-success anxiety, the collapse that happens after hitting goals. And it's not that you're broken, you're just misaligned. You created an outcome your entire body can't hold. So let me explain what I mean. And if someone hits their goal, but the identity isn't there, they don't feel joyful about it. They don't celebrate. They're always thinking about the next thing and never really feeling fulfilled. There's this never enough feeling, and it's always on to the next thing. You see, if someone's in a state where their identity matches the attainment of their goal, then they don't settle, but they do celebrate. They do feel fulfilled and they feel grateful. See, when someone's in a state of alignment, gratitude is there, but it's not a settling form. It's a form of not complacency, but of excitement for just the act of creating. And we as human beings love to create. We love to expand. We love to grow. It's one of the key things Tony Robbins talks about, this core concept of growth. But if we grow with the feeling of never enough, out of compulsion, then it's not true growth. It's just being stretched. And it always comes back like stretching a rubber band too far. True growth upgrades the ability to be stretched. Someone who isn't fully there will hit their goal once or get close, and then they self-sabotage, bounce right back, or create some sort of pattern that makes them fall short or lose it all. And that's outdated programming creating misaligned expansion. If your body is rejecting it, freedom becomes pressure. Joy becomes an obligation. So let me walk you through how this actually shows up. Okay, so often someone will make a lot of money, but then they fear losing it. They'll have a team, but they're unable to actually get the team to do what they want. They constantly feel unheard, they feel incapable, or they believe people can't do it as good as they can. Or there's the feeling that you can't get what you actually want, that what you desire is just out of reach. This is guilt, imposter syndrome, and silent burnout. And it is everywhere. I've seen this especially in rooms where people have paid a lot of money to be, and I've invested over $1 million to be in different rooms and learn from different gurus. There's always this form of comparison and how they got their results. For example, in the Inner Circle with Russell Brunson, which if you haven't checked out his programs and joined, you should, I found that many people, including myself when I first started, didn't feel like how they attained their $1 million was good enough. So whether it was a shortcut or something that made it feel like it didn't really count in their mind, they felt like if it wasn't just like how someone else did it through one funnel in under 12 months and this exact style with a lot of take-home income, then it didn't really count. Yet it still does. And this is a common theme. We compare ourselves and see how someone else has a little bit more ideal than us. And then we discount what we've actually created. It lessens our ability to be present and conscious. But if we take full ownership of what we've accomplished and still acknowledge the gap of where we need to go, instead of just focusing on the gap itself, we focus on the gain. Just like in the book, The Gap and the Gain, and it helps us validate our wins and win bigger and faster. So let me walk you through this fix. The result has to match the receiver. That's called identity congruence. And it's the missing factor in fulfillment. The shift starts with one uncomfortable question. Not only what do I want and why do I want it, but more importantly, when I attain it, what will I get from it? Or how will I feel once I attain it? And so knowing the feeling that drives us can help us determine whether it's compulsion-driven or choice-driven. So if I ask myself, why do I want this goal? And I say, well, I want it so that I can feel happy or so that I can finally rest. That's not ideal because my happiness and need to rest is dependent upon something external. And if that's the case, more often than not, it won't happen until I get that choice to be mine, not dependent upon a result, just mine, my full conscious choice. That's the uncomfortable part because it reveals that you're chasing an outcome to feel something you could choose right now. And most don't want to hear that or even admit that that's a thing. But here's what most people miss. You think the goal is the destination. And I know you hear it's the journey, not the destination, but still yet you think it's the destination. It's not. The goal is not the thing that you're seeking. The goal becomes this permission slip. You're not actually chasing the money or the team or the freedom, the recognition. You're chasing the permission to finally feel worthy, to feel good enough, to finally rest, to finally be enough. And your body knows that's a lie because you've built your entire identity around this chase, around the lack, around the not yet. So when you finally arrive, your body doesn't know what to do. It doesn't recognize you without the struggle, without that gap, without the next mountain to climb. And that's why fulfillment feels like hollowness. That's why success feels like pressure because you built an outcome, but you didn't build the identity that can hold on to it. And until you reprogram this at what's called a cellular level, so not just in your thoughts, but your entire being, how every single part of your body, down from your toes all the way up to the hair on your head, how everything responds to the pressures and the problems and the successes, then you'll keep creating and destroying, achieving and sabotaging. You'll win and yet lose because your cells only know one version of you, the one who's chasing, not the one who's arrived. So let me tell you about one of my clients. Even though she had all the external things working in a multi-million-dollar company, every time she'd hit a goal, it didn't fulfill her. She felt empty inside. And always as if it was dependent upon her. It didn't feel sustainable, nor fun. Even though she loves what she does, she felt very constricted inside. And so after working through some of what are called the fight-flight responses, or what I call allergies and addictions, she got to a place where not only could she delegate more effectively, but also enjoy the wins without feeling reactive in her marriage. So even though she appeared to have everything and yet couldn't breathe internally, this pressure and overwhelm was always there. Until she realigned the identity with the result, what happened was the pressure lifted, the joy returned. The freedom actually felt like freedom. And that's what happens when you use alignment instead of force or escape. So let me ask you, what goal are you chasing to feel something you're not allowing yourself to feel right now? Drop it in the comments. I love to see the different goals and the things that you're working toward. And also, those who are super open, drop the feeling that you're actually trying to chase. Because once you identify it, then you can change it. And it's not that you're broke. It's just you're out of alignment with the thing that you want. You're out of alignment with yourself. And if you're ready to switch that, I'm actually hosting a challenge coming up where we're going to work through this kind of stuff together. I'll teach you some of the technique and the cellular alignment technique, and it's way more interactive than this YouTube. So you can check the description for all the info, and yeah, come learn, come experience it for yourself, because if you're trying to get a goal, but the goal seems just out of reach, or you get it and you don't feel fulfilled, then that's a key indicator that something is off and it's not sustainable. but one alignment could change the entire direction for your business and for your lifestyle. And if you haven't yet, make sure to click the subscribe button. Join me on this movement as we discover what's possible when we're in alignment and we go all in on becoming who we know we are meant to be. Until next time, be unstoppable.